The old Thompson farm was nestled in the heart of a small, forgotten town. The weathered barn and creaky farmhouse stood as silent witnesses to decades of toil and harvest. For generations, the Thompson family had eked out a living from the fertile soil, but as time passed, the farm had become a desolate place, abandoned and shunned by the locals. Rumors whispered through the town spoke of eerie occurrences and unexplained phenomena that plagued the once thriving homestead. One autumn evening, a group of curious teenagers decided to explore the dilapidated Thompson farm. Drawn by the allure of the unknown and fueled by the bravado of adolescence, they set out under the light of the full moon. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the distant howls of coyotes echoed through the desolate fields. As the group approached the farm, the rusty gate groaned in protest as it swung open, revealing a path overgrown with weeds and lined by gnarled trees. The farmhouse loomed in the distance, its windows like hollow eyes peering out from a weathered façade. A flickering lantern hung precariously from the porch, casting long, distorted shadows on the warped floorboards. The teens hesitated but pressed on, fueled by a mix of excitement and trepidation. They entered the farmhouse cautiously, the floorboards creaking beneath their weight. The air inside was thick with dust and the musty odor of abandonment. Cobwebs hung like drapes, and the silence was broken only by the occasional scurrying of unseen rodents. They explored room after room, each one a snapshot frozen in time. Dusty furniture draped with moth-eaten sheets, faded photographs of a bygone era, and the distant echoes of laughter that had long since faded away. But as they ventured deeper into the farmhouse, an oppressive atmosphere settled over them, causing a chill to run down their spines. In the dim light, the group stumbled upon a door they hadn't noticed before. It was tucked away at the end of a narrow hallway, its frame coated in peeling paint. Hesitant but driven by a morbid curiosity, they opened the door, revealing a steep staircase leading down into darkness. Descending into the bowels of the earth, the air grew colder, and a dampness clung to the walls. The staircase seemed to stretch on indefinitely, each step echoing with a foreboding resonance. As they reached the bottom, the flickering light revealed a sprawling underground chamber. The chamber was a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, a forgotten catacomb beneath the farm. The air was heavy with an unearthly stillness, and shadows danced on the walls like specters. The teens cautiously navigated the maze of tunnels, the oppressive darkness closing in around them. As they delved deeper, strange symbols adorned the walls, illuminated by an otherworldly glow. Whispers echoed through the tunnels, indistinct and muffled, like the tortured murmurs of trapped souls. The group pressed on, unable to resist the magnetic pull of the unknown. In the heart of the catacombs, they stumbled upon a cavernous chamber, the air thick with an ancient, malevolent presence. The flickering lantern revealed an altar, adorned with decaying flowers and surrounded by cryptic symbols. A cold wind swept through the chamber, extinguishing the lantern and plunging the group into darkness. Terrified, they fumbled for their flashlights, casting feeble beams of light that revealed the shadows twisting and contorting around them. Whispers grew into guttural chants, and the temperature plummeted. A pale, ghostly figure materialized before them, its eyes vacant and filled with a malevolent force. The apparition spoke in a haunting, ethereal voice, recounting a tale of tragedy and betrayal that had befallen the Thompson family. The farm, it claimed, had become a nexus of darkness, a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead were blurred. The teens were intruders in a realm they could not comprehend. As the ghostly figure reached out with spectral hands, the teens felt an icy grip on their souls. Images of the farm's grisly past flashed before their eyes, a tale of forbidden rituals, curses, and a bloodline tainted by unspeakable deeds. The apparition demanded retribution for the sins of the past, a sacrifice to appease the restless spirits that haunted the farm. Panicking, the teens tried to flee, but the tunnels seemed to shift and warp, leading them in circles. The whispers grew into anguished wails, and the darkness pressed in from all sides. The air itself seemed to pulse with an otherworldly malevolence. One by one, the teens succumbed to the insidious force that enveloped them. Their terrified screams echoed through the tunnels, merging with the tormented cries of long-forgotten souls. Shadows clung to the walls, feeding off the fear and despair that permeated the underground labyrinth. As the last of the group fell silent, the catacombs returned to an eerie stillness. The ghostly figure faded away, leaving behind only the cold, oppressive darkness. The farm above, once desolate, now seemed to pulse with an unholy energy. The townsfolk, unaware of the horrors that had transpired beneath the farm, continued to avoid the Thompson homestead. The whispers of the catacombs remained buried, lost in the echoes of time. The old barn and farmhouse stood as silent sentinels, guarding a secret that would forever remain entwined with the dark history of the Thompson farm. Years passed, and the horror that unfolded in the catacombs of the Thompson farm became a macabre legend in the town. The once thriving community continued to wither away, haunted by the specter of that fateful night. Locals spoke in hushed tones about the cursed homestead, warning their children to stay away from the desolate fields and dilapidated buildings. However, curiosity is a potent force, especially among the young and restless. A new group of teenagers, fueled by the thrill of the unknown and a daring spirit, decided to unravel the mysteries that shrouded the Thompson farm. They had heard the whispers, the distorted tales that had been passed down from one generation to the next. The lure of forbidden knowledge and the adrenaline of the forbidden beckoned them to explore the accursed grounds. The moon hung low in the night sky as the group approached the farm. The wind whispered through the skeletal branches, carrying with it an uneasy feeling that clung to the air. The rusty gate groaned as it swung open, its protest echoing through the stillness of the night. Undeterred, the teenagers crossed the threshold into the forgotten realm. The farmhouse loomed before them, its windows like vacant eyes staring into the abyss. The air was thick with an ominous energy, and a palpable sense of foreboding hung in the air. The group cautiously entered the dilapidated structure, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness that clung to the forgotten rooms. As they explored, the unsettling stillness was broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards beneath their feet. Dust particles danced in the beams of light, creating an eerie spectacle that heightened the tension in the air. They navigated the desolate hallways, the air heavy with the scent of decay and abandonment. One of the teenagers, a bold and brash young man named Jake, suggested they venture into the catacombs below the farmhouse. The others hesitated, their eyes darting nervously around the room, but the allure of the unknown proved too potent to resist. With trepidation, they descended the creaking staircase into the subterranean depths. The catacombs were as they had been left, frozen in time. The same cryptic symbols adorned the walls, and the air bore the heavy weight of ancient secrets. The group proceeded cautiously, the flickering light of their flashlights revealing the maze-like tunnels that stretched out before them. As they delved deeper, the oppressive atmosphere thickened, and the tunnels seemed to twist and contort, disorienting the group. Shadows danced on the walls, and distant whispers brushed against their ears like ethereal fingers. The air grew colder, and an unsettling feeling settled in the pit of their stomachs. In the heart of the catacombs, the group stumbled upon the same cavernous chamber where the tragedy had unfolded years ago. The air hummed with a malevolent force, and the symbols on the walls seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Unseen eyes watched from the shadows, and the temperature plummeted. A spectral figure materialized before them, its features obscured by the ethereal glow that surrounded it. The ghostly voice spoke of the curse that gripped the Thompson farm, a curse that demanded retribution. The group, trapped in a web of ancient malevolence, felt the cold fingers of fear tightening their grip. As the apparition reached out with ghostly hands, the group recoiled, desperate to escape the clutches of the cursed chamber. The catacombs seemed to shift and warp, confounding their attempts to find an exit. Whispers turned into anguished wails, and the air vibrated with the tortured cries of unseen spirits. The teenagers, their faces contorted in terror, realized they were ensnared in a nightmare not of their making. The shadows converged, merging into a suffocating darkness that consumed them. One by one, they succumbed to the insidious force, their screams joining the chorus of the tormented souls that lingered in the depths. As the last echo of despair faded away, the catacombs returned to their sepulchral stillness. The ghostly figure dissipated, leaving behind a chilling silence that hung in the air. The cursed farm above, now more saturated with malevolence, stood as a testament to the relentless grip of the supernatural. The town remained oblivious to the horrors that lurked beneath the Thompson farm, the catacombs concealing their secrets once again. The barn and farmhouse, weathered by time and stained with the sins of the past, stood as silent witnesses to a cycle of darkness that seemed destined to repeat itself. The legend of the Thompson farm continued to cast its long, sinister shadow over the town, warning all who dared to tread on the cursed grounds. The cursed legacy of the Thompson farm endured, its tales of horror echoing through the annals of the small town's history. The haunting remained confined within the decaying walls, a spectral guardian watching over the secrets buried beneath the fields. The townsfolk, gripped by an unspoken understanding, continued to shun the farm, leaving it to wither away in the embrace of malevolent forces. Yet, the supernatural allure of the Thompson farm was a magnet for those drawn to the macabre, and tales of the haunted catacombs persisted. In the years that followed, paranormal enthusiasts, thrill seekers, and skeptics alike were drawn to the abandoned homestead, each seeking to unravel the mysteries that clung to the forsaken land. Among those intrigued by the chilling legend was a team of investigators known for their fearless pursuit of the supernatural. The Paranormal Research Society, led by Dr. Emily Lawson, a renowned expert in occult phenomena, arrived in the town to uncover the truth behind the Thompson farm's dark reputation. The moon hung low in the sky as the team approached the desolate fields, armed with an array of high-tech equipment designed to detect the paranormal. The rusted gate groaned once again, protesting their intrusion into the forbidden territory. Ignoring the eerie silence that enveloped the farm, they made their way to the farmhouse, guided by the dim glow of their flashlights. The Paranormal Research Society explored the abandoned rooms, meticulously documenting the decay and remnants of the past. Dr. Lawson, however, felt a growing unease as they traversed the halls, sensing an unseen force that lingered in the shadows. Undeterred, she led her team to the entrance of the catacombs, where the air seemed to thicken with the weight of history. Descending into the underground labyrinth, the investigators encountered the same cryptic symbols and ancient markings that had perplexed those before them. The tunnels, however, remained elusive, shifting and distorting as they navigated the subterranean maze. Dr. Lawson noted the peculiarity but pressed on, determined to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the farm. In the heart of the catacombs, the investigators discovered the cavernous chamber, its oppressive atmosphere almost tangible. The symbols on the walls pulsed with an otherworldly energy, and the temperature plummeted as the air vibrated with an unseen force. Dr. Lawson, undeterred by the malevolence that surrounded her, initiated a series of experiments to communicate with the supernatural entities believed to inhabit the catacombs. As the investigators delved into their research, an unsettling presence descended upon the chamber. Shadows danced on the walls, and whispers, indistinct yet filled with ancient anguish, reverberated through the tunnels. Dr. Lawson, ever the skeptic, found herself questioning the boundaries of the rational as the supernatural forces seemed to respond to their inquiries. Suddenly, a spectral figure materialized before them, its form wavering between dimensions. The ghostly voice spoke of the curse that bound the Thompson farm, recounting the tragic events that had unfolded within the catacombs. Dr. Lawson, her scientific skepticism waning, listened intently as the entity demanded resolution for the sins of the past. In a desperate attempt to appease the restless spirits, the investigators sought to communicate with the supernatural entities through a series of ritualistic ceremonies. The chamber became a stage for the interplay between the living and the dead, as the investigators attempted to bridge the gap between the tangible and the ethereal. The atmosphere in the catacombs shifted, and an otherworldly energy pulsed through the chamber. The investigators, consumed by their pursuit of the unknown, became unwitting conduits for the spectral forces that lingered in the shadows. The boundaries between the living and the dead blurred as the supernatural entities, fueled by the investigators' probing, grew more tangible. The Paranormal Research Society, caught in the grip of the malevolent forces, began to experience phenomena beyond their understanding. Apparitions materialized, and the air crackled with an unnatural electricity. Shadows took on a life of their own, contorting and twisting as if animated by unseen hands. Dr. Lawson, once the stalwart skeptic, found herself confronted by a reality that defied scientific explanation. The ghostly figure, now more defined, beckoned her towards the altar at the center of the chamber. The symbols on the walls glowed with an intensity that mirrored the energy coursing through the investigators. As Dr. Lawson approached the altar, a sense of dread settled over her. The supernatural forces, no longer content with mere communication, sought a tangible sacrifice to satisfy the ancient curse. The Paranormal Research Society, unwittingly entangled in the cycle of darkness that had plagued the Thompson farm for generations, found themselves on the brink of becoming conduits for the malevolent spirits. The air in the catacombs grew thick with tension as the investigators grappled with the realization that they had underestimated the power that resided within the cursed chamber. The ghostly figure, its eyes devoid of mercy, watched as the living unwittingly played their part in the tragic narrative that unfolded once again. As the altar became the focal point of the supernatural maelstrom, the Paranormal Research Society faced a choice: to succumb to the forces that sought retribution or to break free from the cycle that bound the Thompson farm in darkness. The air pulsed with an ominous energy as the investigators, caught in the crossfire between the living and the dead, stood on the precipice of a fate that echoed the tragic tales that had unfolded within the catacombs years before. Caught in the grip of the malevolent forces within the catacombs, the Paranormal Research Society faced an ominous choice. Dr. Emily Lawson, once a staunch skeptic, found herself at the epicenter of the supernatural maelstrom. The ghostly figure, its form undulating between dimensions, gestured towards the altar at the chamber's center. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as the investigators grappled with the weight of the choice before them. The symbols on the walls pulsed with an intensity that mirrored the rising tension within the catacombs. Dr. Lawson, her scientific convictions crumbling in the face of the inexplicable, felt the invisible threads of destiny tightening around her. As the investigators hesitated, the spectral figure spoke once more, its voice a haunting echo in the subterranean chamber. It revealed the tragic tale of the Thompson family, a tale of forbidden rituals, betrayal, and a bloodline tainted by unspeakable deeds. The curse that bound the farm demanded restitution, a sacrifice to appease the restless spirits that clung to the catacombs. The Paranormal Research Society, teetering on the brink of becoming entwined in the farm's dark history, faced an ultimatum. The supernatural forces sought resolution through a tangible sacrifice, and the investigators were thrust into the heart of the ancient vendetta. Dr. Lawson, her mind a tumult of conflicting emotions, understood the gravity of their situation. The boundaries between the living and the dead blurred as the ghostly figure's eyes bore into her soul. A sense of inevitability hung in the air, and the symbols on the walls seemed to converge, directing the unfolding narrative towards a haunting climax. The investigators, sensing the oppressive weight of the curse, made a desperate attempt to resist the spectral forces that sought to manipulate their fate. Frantic whispers filled the chamber as the living grappled with the supernatural entities that had been awakened. Shadows danced in chaotic patterns, and the air vibrated with an unseen force. In a moment of defiant clarity, Dr. Lawson rallied her team, urging them to break free from the cycle of darkness that had ensnared the Thompson farm for generations. The Paranormal Research Society, now united against the malevolent forces, attempted to disrupt the ritualistic proceedings unfolding around the altar. As the investigators intervened, a surge of energy reverberated through the catacombs. The symbols on the walls flickered, and the ghostly figure recoiled, its ethereal form wavering under the onslaught of resistance. The supernatural forces, momentarily disrupted, unleashed a cacophony of wails and whispers, as if the very fabric of the curse recoiled at the prospect of defiance. The catacombs, caught in the struggle between the living and the dead, trembled as if the very earth beneath them protested against the intrusion. The Paranormal Research Society, their resolve steeled, pressed on, determined to unravel the dark tapestry that had ensnared the Thompson farm. In a final act of defiance, Dr. Lawson, guided by an inexplicable intuition, approached the altar and began to dismantle the symbols that adorned it. The ghostly figure, its form diminishing, watched in silent resignation as the investigator disrupted the ritual that had perpetuated the curse for decades. As the symbols crumbled, the catacombs echoed with the anguished cries of unseen spirits. Shadows retreated, and the oppressive darkness that had clung to the underground chamber began to dissipate. The Paranormal Research Society, bathed in the dim light of their flashlights, stood victorious against the supernatural forces that had sought to ensnare them. With the curse disrupted, the investigators retraced their steps through the twisting tunnels and emerged into the cool night air. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the desolate fields. The farmhouse and barn, weathered by time, stood as silent witnesses to the struggle that had unfolded beneath the surface. The town, oblivious to the supernatural confrontation that had transpired, remained enveloped in an uneasy quiet. The Paranormal Research Society, burdened by the weight of the secrets they had uncovered, left the small town behind, their minds forever marked by the inexplicable events within the Thompson farm. The curse, momentarily disrupted, lingered like a fading echo in the catacombs. The homestead, now stripped of the oppressive malevolence, awaited the passage of time to heal the wounds inflicted by generations of darkness. The legend of the Thompson farm, though tempered by the victory of the living, continued to cast a long shadow over the forgotten town, a cautionary tale of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface of the seemingly ordinary. Once, in the heart of a remote countryside, there stood a sprawling estate known as Ravenscroft Manor. The estate had a history veiled in mystery, with whispers of forbidden rituals and spectral manifestations that had driven the original inhabitants to abandon it. The townsfolk avoided the crumbling mansion, believing it to be cursed, and nature had begun reclaiming the grounds, with ivy creeping up the moss-covered walls and the once pristine gardens now overgrown with weeds. A group of adventurous friends, fueled by curiosity and teenage bravado, decided to unravel the enigma shrouding Ravenscroft Manor. The leader of the group, Sarah, had heard tales from her grandmother about the eerie happenings that had plagued the estate for centuries. On a moonlit night, the group gathered at the outskirts of the overgrown property, their flashlights cutting through the darkness like beacons of audacity. As they approached the looming mansion, the creaking gate seemed to protest their intrusion into its silent domain. The air was thick with a palpable unease, and the wind whispered through the gnarled branches overhead. The friends exchanged nervous glances, but the allure of the unknown pulled them forward, each footstep echoing in the cavernous stillness. Ravenscroft Manor, a grand but dilapidated structure, loomed over them like a spectral sentinel. Its windows were like vacant eyes staring out into the void, and the ivy-clad walls seemed to exhale a chilling breath that hinted at the secrets within. The group entered cautiously, their flashlights flickering as they explored the desolate hallways, each step echoing in the hollow spaces. The grandeur of the mansion, now faded and decayed, bore witness to a bygone era. Dust-covered furniture lay draped in white sheets, and the air carried the musty scent of abandonment. Paintings of stern-faced ancestors adorned the walls, their eyes seeming to follow the intruders through the silent halls. The friends pressed on, drawn by an inexplicable force that urged them deeper into the heart of Ravenscroft Manor. As they traversed the dimly lit corridors, they stumbled upon a door that seemed to materialize out of the shadows. The ornate handle turned with a rusty groan, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into darkness. The group hesitated, uncertainty flickering in their eyes, but Sarah's determination spurred them forward. They descended into the bowels of the mansion, the air growing colder with each step. The underground chambers revealed a hidden world beneath Ravenscroft Manor. The walls were adorned with cryptic symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. The air was heavy with an unsettling stillness, and the friends navigated a labyrinth of tunnels that seemed to twist and turn with a malevolent intent. In the heart of the underground maze, the group stumbled upon a cavernous chamber reminiscent of a forgotten chapel. An altar, adorned with faded flowers and surrounded by ancient candles, stood as the focal point. The air hummed with an eerie resonance, and the temperature dropped as shadows danced on the cold stone walls. Suddenly, a spectral figure materialized before them, its presence sending shivers down their spines. The ghostly entity spoke in hushed tones, recounting the dark history of Ravenscroft Manor. The mansion, it claimed, was a nexus of supernatural energy, a place where the veil between the living and the dead was thin. The friends were intruders in a realm that held secrets darker than they could fathom. As the ghostly figure spoke, images of Ravenscroft Manor's grim past flickered in the air. Forbidden rituals, a curse that spanned generations, and the tragic demise of those who had once called the estate home unfolded before the mesmerized friends. The apparition, a spectral guardian of the mansion's secrets, demanded retribution for the sins of the past, a sacrifice to quell the restless spirits that lingered within the shadows. Panicked, the friends attempted to flee the underground chambers, but the labyrinth seemed to conspire against them. The tunnels twisted and turned, disorienting their senses, and the air resonated with anguished wails. Shadows, cast by unseen forces, clung to the walls seemingly alive with a malevolent energy. One by one, the friends succumbed to the supernatural forces that gripped Ravenscroft Manor. Their terrified screams echoed through the tunnels, merging with the haunting whispers that permeated the underground labyrinth. The air was thick with a suffocating despair as the spectral guardian watched, its hollow eyes reflecting the tragedy unfolding. As the last friend fell silent, the underground chambers returned to an eerie stillness. The ghostly figure, its purpose fulfilled, faded away, leaving behind a haunting silence that enveloped Ravenscroft Manor. The friends, now lost souls trapped in the mansion's spectral grasp, became part of the tragic narrative that echoed through the ages. Above ground, Ravenscroft Manor stood as a solemn monument to the supernatural forces that had claimed the lives of those who dared to unravel its mysteries. The townsfolk, unaware of the horror that lurked within the decaying walls, continued to avoid the cursed estate. The mansion, now a forsaken relic of a bygone era, remained cloaked in an aura of malevolence, a warning to all who dared to tread into the shadows of its haunted halls. Years passed, and Ravenscroft Manor sank deeper into the annals of local legend, its ominous presence casting a perpetual shadow over the surrounding countryside. The town, a close-knit community, clung to the tales of the haunted estate as cautionary folklore, warning generations to steer clear of the decaying mansion and its cursed history. However, as is often the case, the allure of the forbidden proved too tempting for the curious and the thrill-seekers. A new group of friends, drawn by the macabre tales surrounding Ravenscroft Manor, embarked on their own quest to uncover the secrets that lay dormant within its walls. Among them was Olivia, an intrepid young woman with a fascination for the paranormal, who had heard whispers of the mansion's dark past from her grandmother. One crisp autumn evening, under the cloak of darkness, the group gathered at the edge of the overgrown estate. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an ethereal glow on the ivy-clad mansion. The wind whispered through the gnarled branches overhead, and the rusted gate protested their intrusion once more as they stepped onto the grounds of Ravenscroft Manor. Olivia led the group, her flashlight cutting through the night as they approached the mansion's entrance. The air felt charged with an unseen energy, and a shiver ran down their spines as they crossed the threshold into the abandoned halls. Ravenscroft Manor, a silent witness to decades of tragedy, awaited the intrusion of the living once again. As the friends navigated the dimly lit corridors, they discovered rooms frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture draped in white sheets, faded portraits gazing down with stern expressions, and the distant echoes of a forgotten era filled the air. The mansion seemed to breathe with a life of its own, the atmosphere thick with the weight of untold stories. In their exploration, the friends stumbled upon the same mysterious door that had led the previous group into the underground catacombs. The handle turned with a creak, revealing the narrow staircase that descended into the darkness below. Despite the ominous aura, Olivia's determination drove them forward, each step taking them further into the heart of the enigma that was Ravenscroft Manor. The underground chambers mirrored the tales of the past, cryptic symbols adorned the walls, and a labyrinth of tunnels awaited their exploration. The air grew colder, and an unsettling stillness settled over the group as they ventured into the subterranean maze. Shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own, whispering secrets that eluded the grasp of the living. In the heart of the catacombs, the friends discovered the cavernous chamber, a place of eerie familiarity. An altar, bathed in an otherworldly glow, stood as a testament to the supernatural forces that lingered within Ravenscroft Manor. The air hummed with an ominous resonance, and the temperature dropped as the friends realized they were not alone. A spectral figure materialized before them, its form wavering between dimensions. The ghostly voice spoke of Ravenscroft Manor's cursed history, a tale of forbidden rituals, a malevolent force that transcended time, and a relentless cycle of tragedy. The apparition, a spectral guardian bound to the mansion's dark legacy, demanded resolution for the sins of the past. As the ghostly figure spoke, visions of the mansion's grim history played out before the friends' eyes. The friends, undeterred by fear, listened to the haunting narrative of forbidden secrets and spectral entrapment. The apparition, its hollow eyes fixed upon Olivia, revealed that the curse demanded a sacrifice to quell the restless spirits that haunted Ravenscroft Manor. A sense of urgency gripped the group as they realized the gravity of the situation. The catacombs seemed to shift and warp, confounding their attempts to find an escape. Whispers turned into anguished wails, and shadows converged around them, feeding off the fear that permeated the underground labyrinth. In a desperate attempt to break free from the supernatural grip, Olivia and her friends sought to understand the source of the curse. They delved into the forbidden rituals, piecing together the fragments of Ravenscroft Manor's haunted history. The symbols on the walls seemed to respond to their inquiries, glowing with an intensity that mirrored the group's growing realization. As the friends unraveled the mysteries, the catacombs vibrated with an unseen force. The spectral figure, once a harbinger of doom, watched as the living grappled with the malevolent energies that had ensnared Ravenscroft Manor for centuries. The boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, and the friends found themselves caught in a struggle that transcended the physical realm. With newfound knowledge, Olivia and her friends attempted to disrupt the curse that bound Ravenscroft Manor. The symbols on the walls flickered, and the spectral figure recoiled, its ethereal form diminishing in the face of defiance. The catacombs echoed with anguished cries as the supernatural forces, momentarily disrupted, unleashed a torrent of wails and whispers. The friends, driven by a collective will to break the cycle, dismantled the symbols that adorned the altar. The catacombs quivered as if the very foundation of the mansion protested against the unraveling of its dark history. Shadows retreated, and the oppressive darkness that had clung to the underground chambers began to dissipate. As the last symbol crumbled, the catacombs fell into an eerie silence. The spectral figure, its purpose unfulfilled, faded away, leaving behind a haunting stillness. Olivia and her friends emerged from the underground maze, bathed in the dim light of their flashlights, victorious against the malevolent forces that had sought to enthrall them. Above ground, Ravenscroft Manor stood as a relic of its dark past, but the curse that had gripped it for centuries seemed to dissipate. The town, unaware of the supernatural struggle that had transpired, continued its existence in the shadow of the mansion. Olivia and her friends, marked by the paranormal encounter, left the haunted estate behind, their minds forever changed by the inexplicable events within Ravenscroft Manor. The mansion, no longer bound by the malevolent forces, awaited its fate in the embrace of nature. The ivy-clad walls and moss-covered stones bore witness to a chapter that had ended, a tale of curses and courageous defiance that would linger in the whispers of Ravenscroft Manor for generations to come. As the seasons changed, Ravenscroft Manor stood silent and solemn, its ivy-clad walls weathered by time. The town, still unaware of the supernatural struggle that had unfolded within the decaying mansion, continued its daily routines under the watchful gaze of the haunted estate. The tale of Olivia and her friends, the brave souls who had dared to challenge the curse, remained hidden in the folds of the countryside's folklore. Meanwhile, Olivia and her friends struggled to reconcile the inexplicable events that had unfolded within Ravenscroft Manor. The paranormal encounter had left an indelible mark on their minds, weaving itself into the fabric of their memories. They found themselves haunted by echoes of the spectral figures, the cryptic symbols, and the anguished wails that had reverberated through the catacombs. The group, bound by a shared experience that transcended the ordinary, sought solace and understanding. They delved into books on the occult, consulted experts in paranormal phenomena, and exchanged their perspectives in an attempt to comprehend the forces that had gripped Ravenscroft Manor. However, the supernatural enigma proved elusive, leaving them with more questions than answers. Months passed, and Olivia, driven by an insatiable curiosity, decided to revisit the haunted estate. The desire to unveil the remaining mysteries of Ravenscroft Manor tugged at her, drawing her back to the place where she had faced the unknown. The once overgrown gardens and crumbling walls greeted her, as if the mansion itself awaited her return. As Olivia entered the mansion, the air felt charged with an ancient energy. Dust motes danced in the dim light filtering through the dilapidated windows, and the familiar creaks of the floorboards seemed to echo a spectral welcome. The grand halls, once shrouded in darkness, now exuded an eerie stillness that resonated with the history imprinted on the walls. The underground catacombs beckoned, their entrance a threshold between the mundane and the supernatural. Olivia descended into the depths, guided by the memories of her previous journey. The cryptic symbols on the walls, once pulsating with an ominous glow, remained dormant, and the labyrinthine tunnels seemed to yield their secrets more readily this time. In the heart of the catacombs, Olivia discovered a chamber that had eluded her on her first visit. The room, bathed in a soft, ethereal light, held remnants of forgotten rituals and relics of the curse that had plagued Ravenscroft Manor. Olivia, armed with newfound knowledge and a sense of determination, began to unravel the final threads of the supernatural tapestry. As she explored the chamber, an apparition materialized before her, a spectral figure, but not one of the tormented souls that had haunted the mansion. This entity, bathed in a gentle glow, emanated a sense of tranquility. The ghostly presence revealed itself as a guardian spirit, a force that had once resisted the malevolence but had become entwined in the curse's grip. The guardian spirit spoke of a tragic history that predated the curse, a tale of love and betrayal, of a family torn apart by forces beyond their control. The curse, it explained, had been a consequence of the unfinished business that lingered within the mansion's walls. The guardian had been bound to Ravenscroft Manor, its duty to protect and guide the living through the supernatural labyrinth. Touched by the spirit's revelations, Olivia realized that the curse was not merely a malevolent force but a reflection of unresolved emotions and unfulfilled destinies. The guardian spirit, unable to break free from the shackles of the curse, sought Olivia's help in completing the rituals necessary to release the lingering energies. Together, Olivia and the guardian spirit embarked on a journey through the catacombs, performing rituals and dispelling the residual energies that had plagued Ravenscroft Manor for centuries. The cryptic symbols, once vessels of malevolence, began to lose their ominous glow, replaced by a serene luminescence. As the rituals unfolded, the catacombs trembled with a gentle energy. The underground chambers, once suffused with darkness, now resonated with a harmonious balance between the living and the spectral. The guardian spirit, its purpose fulfilled, dissipated into the ether, leaving behind a sense of peace that permeated Ravenscroft Manor. Above ground, the mansion underwent a transformation. The ivy receded, revealing the beauty of the architectural grandeur beneath. The once overgrown gardens bloomed with vibrant colors, and the echoes of despair that had clung to the estate dispersed like morning mist. Ravenscroft Manor, freed from the curse that had bound it, stood as a testament to the resilience of the living and the redemptive power of understanding the past. Olivia emerged from the catacombs, her heart lighter, and her mind clearer. The town, still oblivious to the supernatural events that had unfolded within Ravenscroft Manor, continued its existence in the shadow of the once haunted estate. The mansion, now bathed in the glow of a renewed spirit, became a symbol of hope and redemption, a place where the echoes of the past had been laid to rest. The tale of Ravenscroft Manor, once a chilling legend of curses and tragedies, underwent a transformation. Olivia, now a keeper of the estate's secrets, chose to share the story with the town. The once dreaded mansion became a place of reflection, where the lessons of the past served as a beacon for future generations. As the seasons changed and time flowed onward, Ravenscroft Manor stood as a reminder that even the darkest chapters of history could be rewritten with understanding and compassion. The town, once burdened by the weight of a spectral legacy, found solace in the transformed estate, and the legend of Ravenscroft Manor evolved into a narrative of resilience, redemption, and the enduring power of the human spirit. In the secluded town of Whispering Pines, nestled deep within a dense forest, there existed a forgotten estate known as Blackthorn Manor. Its imposing silhouette, weathered by the passage of time, loomed over the landscape like a silent sentinel guarding long-buried secrets. Whispers of tragedy and a malevolent force had woven themselves into the fabric of local folklore, creating an aura of dread that kept the townsfolk at a distance. A group of friends, captivated by the allure of the macabre and driven by an insatiable curiosity, decided to venture into the enigmatic depths of Blackthorn Manor. Among them was Alex, a daring and inquisitive soul who had grown up hearing ominous tales about the estate from the town's elders. The moon cast an ethereal glow on the night when the group gathered at the edge of the forest, their flashlights cutting through the inky darkness as they approached the looming mansion. The wrought iron gates groaned in protest as they swung open, granting the friends access to the overgrown grounds of Blackthorn Manor. The air hung heavy with a palpable tension, and the rustling leaves seemed to murmur cautionary tales to those who dared to trespass on the haunted estate. Undeterred, the friends crossed the threshold, the creaking floorboards beneath their feet echoing through the stillness of the night. The manor, with its grandeur now diminished by time's relentless march, exuded an eerie charm. The once opulent halls echoed with whispers of a bygone era, and dust-laden portraits of stern-faced ancestors gazed down on the intruders with hollow eyes. The friends, armed with flashlights and hearts pounding with anticipation, ventured deeper into the mansion, their footsteps echoing in the silence. As they explored the dimly lit corridors, the group stumbled upon a hidden door, its existence revealed only by a subtle draft that teased at the edges of their perception. The handle, cold to the touch, yielded with a reluctant groan, unveiling a narrow staircase leading down into the mansion's mysterious underbelly. Alex, driven by an unquenchable desire to unravel the secrets that lay hidden, led the way into the subterranean depths. The underground chambers were a labyrinth of forgotten history, with walls adorned in cryptic symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. The air grew colder as the friends navigated the winding tunnels, each step bringing them closer to the heart of Blackthorn Manor's malevolence. Shadows danced on the walls, casting distorted shapes that seemed to whisper forgotten truths. In the heart of the catacombs, the group stumbled upon a cavernous chamber, its atmosphere charged with an ominous resonance. An altar, adorned with wilted flowers and surrounded by time-stained candles, stood as a testament to a dark history. The friends, their breaths visible in the chilling air, felt the weight of unseen eyes upon them. A spectral figure materialized before them, its form flickering between dimensions. The ghostly voice spoke of a curse that had clung to Blackthorn Manor for generations, recounting tales of betrayal, forbidden rituals, and a bloodline tainted by unspeakable deeds. The apparition, a tortured soul bound to the mansion's tragic past, implored the friends to either break the curse or succumb to its relentless grip. As the ghostly figure spoke, the friends were transported through time, witnessing the tormented history that had unfolded within the walls of Blackthorn Manor. Forbidden ceremonies, family secrets, and the relentless cycle of tragedy played out before their eyes. The apparition, its eyes filled with an ancient sorrow, revealed that the curse demanded resolution, a sacrifice to appease the restless spirits that haunted the estate. Terrified yet compelled to uncover the truth, the friends attempted to flee the underground chambers, only to find the tunnels shifting and contorting, confounding their attempts to escape. Whispers turned into anguished wails, and shadows converged around them, as if the very walls were closing in. The air vibrated with an unseen force, and the friends realized they were ensnared in a nightmare not of their making. In a desperate attempt to understand the malevolent force that gripped Blackthorn Manor, Alex and the others delved into the forgotten rituals and secrets that had condemned the estate. The symbols on the walls seemed to respond to their inquiries, glowing with an intensity that mirrored the energy coursing through the underground labyrinth. As they unraveled the mysteries, the catacombs pulsated with an otherworldly energy. The spectral figure, once a harbinger of doom, watched as the friends grappled with the malevolent forces that had ensnared Blackthorn Manor for centuries. The boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, and the group found themselves caught in a struggle that transcended the mortal realm. With newfound knowledge, Alex and the others attempted to disrupt the curse that bound Blackthorn Manor. The symbols on the walls flickered, and the spectral figure recoiled, its ethereal form diminishing in the face of defiance. The catacombs echoed with anguished cries as the supernatural forces, momentarily disrupted, unleashed a torrent of wails and whispers. The friends, driven by a collective will to break the cycle, dismantled the symbols that adorned the altar. The catacombs quivered as if the very foundation of the mansion protested against the unraveling of its dark history. Shadows retreated, and the oppressive darkness that had clung to the underground chambers began to dissipate. As the last symbol crumbled, the catacombs fell into an eerie silence. The spectral figure, its purpose unfulfilled, faded away, leaving behind a haunting stillness. Alex and the others emerged from the catacombs, bathed in the dim light of their flashlights, victorious against the malevolent forces that had sought to enthrall them. Above ground, Blackthorn Manor underwent a transformation. The once voracious ivy receded, revealing the architectural grandeur beneath. The mansion, no longer cloaked in an aura of dread, stood as a monument to the resilience of the living. The friends, marked by the paranormal encounter, left the haunted estate behind, their minds forever changed by the inexplicable events within Blackthorn Manor. Shadow of the once cursed estate. Blackthorn Manor, now free from the malevolent forces that had held it captive for centuries, exuded an air of newfound serenity. The townsfolk, unaware of the supernatural battles waged within the mansion's depths, continued their lives, occasionally casting curious glances at the now transformed manor. As the seasons changed, a sense of normalcy settled over Whispering Pines. Yet, the friends who had faced the supernatural horrors of Blackthorn Manor found themselves haunted by the memories of their harrowing encounter. Alex, in particular, felt a lingering connection to the estate, as if an unseen thread bound them together, weaving the echoes of the past into the fabric of the present. Unable to shake the feeling that there were still unanswered questions, Alex delved into the town's archives, seeking clues about Blackthorn Manor's history. The elders, initially reticent, eventually shared fragments of a story that had long been relegated to whispers. It was a tale of a once prosperous family, the Thornsleys, whose fortunes had taken a dark turn amidst accusations of witchcraft and forbidden alliances. The Thornsleys, it seemed, had invoked supernatural forces in a desperate bid for power and immortality. As the forbidden rituals unfolded within the hallowed halls of Blackthorn Manor, a curse was unleashed, condemning the family to a fate of perpetual suffering. The mansion, once a symbol of opulence, became a prison for tormented spirits seeking retribution. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Alex and the friends returned to Blackthorn Manor, their flashlights piercing the lingering shadows. The mansion, though transformed, still bore the scars of its cursed history. Determined to break the cycle completely, the group ventured once more into the underground catacombs, guided by the cryptic symbols that held the key to the estate's redemption. In the heart of the catacombs, they discovered an untouched chamber, hidden from plain sight. Its walls were adorned with intricate murals that depicted the Thornsley family's descent into darkness. The symbols, once symbols of malevolence, now seemed to resonate with a plea for release. As the friends deciphered the murals, the very essence of the curse unfurled before them, revealing the tragic tale of the Thornsleys. The spectral figure, a manifestation of the curse's malevolence, materialized once again. Yet, this time, its demeanor had shifted. No longer a harbinger of doom, it appeared to be a conduit between the living and the tormented spirits. The figure, identifying itself as a guardian of the Thornsley legacy, implored the friends to aid in breaking the curse once and for all. Driven by a shared purpose, Alex and the friends embarked on a quest to perform the rituals necessary for the redemption of Blackthorn Manor. The catacombs vibrated with an otherworldly energy as they meticulously followed the guidance laid out by the guardian spirit. Symbols that once exuded malevolence now radiated a soft, ethereal glow, signaling the release of the tortured souls trapped within the mansion's confines. As the rituals reached their climax, the underground chamber seemed to transcend the bounds of time. Visions of the Thornsley family's tragic past played out before the friends, allowing them to witness the moments that had sealed the fate of Blackthorn Manor. The cries of anguish and the echoes of forbidden incantations filled the air, creating a tapestry of suffering that had endured for generations. With each ritual completed, the friends sensed a gradual shift in the energy surrounding them. The catacombs, once a realm of darkness, began to resonate with a harmonious balance between the living and the spectral. The guardian spirit, its purpose fulfilled, guided the friends toward a final confrontation with the remnants of the curse. In the heart of the transformed chamber, a residual darkness manifested itself, coalescing into a formidable force that resisted the impending release. The friends, now united in purpose, confronted the malevolent entity, armed with the understanding that redemption required not only breaking the curse but also offering solace to the tormented spirits. A battle of wills unfolded as the friends channeled the newfound knowledge gained from the guardian spirit. Symbols lit up in sequence, dispelling the lingering shadows. The spectral figure, once an embodiment of doom, merged its ethereal essence with the friends' collective efforts, creating a surge of energy that transcended the boundaries between the living and the dead. As the last incantation echoed through the chamber, the mansion quivered, and the oppressive darkness that had clung to Blackthorn Manor for centuries began to dissipate. The friends, bathed in the soft glow of their flashlights, witnessed the manifestation of a spectral release, as the tormented souls found peace and ascended into the afterlife. Blackthorn Manor, now free from the shackles of its cursed history, underwent a transformation that mirrored its inner redemption. The ivy-clad walls receded, revealing the architectural splendor that had long been obscured. The mansion, no longer a place of dread, stood as a monument to resilience, redemption, and the enduring power of understanding the past. As Alex and the friends emerged from the catacombs, they found themselves standing in the moonlit grounds of Blackthorn Manor. The once burdened estate now radiated a sense of tranquility, its haunted legacy replaced by an air of serenity. The friends, forever changed by their supernatural odyssey, left the transformed mansion behind, their footsteps echoing with a newfound understanding of the forces that could bind and liberate. Whispering Pines, still oblivious to the epic struggle that had transpired beneath the surface of Blackthorn Manor, continued its existence under the watchful gaze of the once cursed estate. The tale of the friends who had faced the malevolent forces became a whispered legend, a testament to the extraordinary courage it took to confront the supernatural and rewrite the destiny of a haunted mansion. And so, as the seasons changed and time flowed onward, Blackthorn Manor stood as a symbol of redemption in the heart of Whispering Pines. The town, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, found solace in the transformed estate, a beacon of hope that echoed the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of understanding the shadows that lurked within the past.